might just end up being a little fatter than the one in the photo. And the reason, I mean, you just want to try to use as much of the cake as possible. If you're not worried about how much cake is there, how much you need to feed your client or your family members, whoever the cake's for, then you can cut it right down to the size because you won't need that much. But I always like to get as much out of it as possible. Now what I want to do is just kind of start rounding the edges a bit, just on the top. And down here. It's always nice to have a nice sharp knife. Okay, now, it's usually not flat like this. It's usually goes out a little bit here, and then the fin would actually come down at the bottom. So, we're gonna come down here, and cut down. Take that off, make this a little thinner. It's a messy job, people. Somebody has to do it. I love carving cake, actually, it's fun. Once you get over the fear of making your first cut, then it's like, wah, wah, wah. Okay, now this is where the fin, part of this fin will be cake, and then the other part right here will just be fondant laying over it. So I really want to kind of thin that down even more. So we'll just extend it a little bit more with the fondant. Yeah, we need to round this a little bit more. And then remember how I said the head would usually come down a little bit more, so we'll take a little bit of that off. And then the last part that we want to do is at the base of the cake down here. It wouldn't go flat like that, it would be rounded. So we'll go ahead and take the knife and we'll just cut some of that excess off down in there. Okay, I'm going to leave it like this, and I'm going to clean up my mess here. Still save some of this extra cake. We're not going to need all of it, but save some of it. We're not going to use these scraps, but just save this part, just in case you need it. We get rid of all this other stuff. So I'll go ahead and I'll clean this up, and then I'm going to cut my board, or I can actually cut my board first and then clean everything up at the same time. Have a trash can under your board. And you want to cut the board off so it's the same size as your cake. And even where the mouth is, goes in. Okay. So pop this up here, and then I'll clean up my mess, and then we'll be ready to ice the cake.